Good afternoon. Is anybody even hearing me, or is everybody just enthralled over what is in front of me? My name is John. I'm off in Car Garage. I'm located in Abington, Massachusetts, and that's about 30 minutes south of Boston. The car in front of us is an iconic one from the early 1950s. When most people think of Studebaker, they think of this car, this model car. The infamous and very distinctive bullet nose Studebaker. This particular vehicle is from the year 1951. The bullet nose only lasted 2 years with Studebaker, 1950 and 51. This car was part of the third generation of the Champion series of cars that was always very, very popular with Studebaker buyers, though they didn't build many convertibles. They built 1,000 Champions in 1951, and only about 3 or 4% of those were convertibles, like what we have here in front of us, in this dazzling blue color that Studebaker called Maui Blue. Yes, this is the original color of this car. This is the color that this car was born with in South Bend, Indiana, from the Studebaker assembly line. That assembly line and that company, by the way, dates back to the 1800s when they were building buggies for horses. That's how far back Studebaker's lineage went. Sadly, Studebaker went by the wayside in the mid-1960s, 1966 to be exact, just because they couldn't ultimately compete with the big three. That was a sad day in automotive history. Thankfully, we have vehicles like this left preserved to remind us of their heyday. This particular car is a stunning example, an older restoration, 1984 to be exact. That's when this car was restored, 1984, by its most recent owner, who purchased the car right around that same time. The gentleman that had purchased the car prior to him found it in a garage in downtown Boston with a 1968 Massachusetts inspection sticker on it. So presumably this car has been in Massachusetts basically its entire life. The car needed to be restored when the most current owner purchased it, but back in the early 1980s, NOS parts for these cars were still readily available. So the car was restored with all brand new in the box, or new old stock, should I say, Studebaker parts. The fenders were replaced at that time with Studebaker in the box fenders, all 4 fenders. All the trim that you see, or most of it, was replaced with NOS trim in the Studebaker boxes. It was said, I read a long time ago, that there was a huge inventory of parts left over in South Bend when the company stopped producing cars here in 1963. Production actually ended in 1966 up in Canada, but that's another story. So there was a lot of parts left over when Studebaker closed its doors. And even to this day, there's a lot of NOS Studebaker parts still available, but not like what he found on this car. Of course, it was over 40 years ago now. So most of this trim that you see was all replaced with new NOS trim in 1984. If it wasn't replaced with NOS, it was re-chromed. Just look at that. This was all done in 1984. I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously, it's an older restoration, but the car was used only as a show vehicle and a hobby vehicle since. So very, very well cared for, very, very well preserved. Beautiful white wall tires. Interior redone at the same time with this really cool and tasteful plaid. Door panels, all new at the time. Not exactly factory correct, but very in keeping with the year of the car. The carpet, presumably replaced at that time and probably could use to be replaced again now. There's just some wear and some staining there, as you can see. But other than the carpet, I would not touch the interior at all. One thing you'll notice is there are seat belts installed front and rear in this car, which you never find in a car in this generation. unless they have been added. These are original Studebaker accessory seat belts that were put in the car. You probably found those NOS as well. Super, super cool. And in case you haven't noticed, just in front of that very Art Deco looking speedometer, there's an optional clock. Not too many times do you see that clock in these Champion models. The AM radio and the clock, both original to the car, do not operate. I wanted to say that while we were thinking of it. Dash mounted rear view mirror is super cool. The original steering wheel with some crazing there on the horn button. Horn works. Odometer shows 15,139. Safe to assume that that is 115,000. Car is equipped with a 3-speed manual column mounted transmission, shifted transmission, and the vehicle does have, which is a huge plus, overdrive, which is great to see in these. It makes the car much more livable to drive on today's roads. Under the hood, there will be a 196 cubic inch straight flathead 6-cylinder engine, which we will get to in a minute. I just want to do one quick walk around here, show you the trunk. Take in again this beautiful Maui blue color, just absolutely breathtaking. Coupled with the tan interior, the car has a cloth white soft top, and I do mean cloth, with the original style glass rear window. There are pictures of that on my website, orphancargarage.com. Very clean trunk compartment here, the original style spare tire, the painted rim. Nice clean reproduction liner, and a very solid and original trunk floor. This car, like I said, did have some fenders replaced. There was some undercarriage work performed on it in the early 1980s when it was restored. There is some evidence of that, but all, just kept that closed nicely, all professionally done. Very, very professionally and tastefully done, and it's all held up very nicely. We have a lot of undercarriage photos on our website, again, orphancargarage.com. I just can't get enough of walking around this vehicle. Such an iconic vehicle. And when was the last time you saw one? I have a binder of receipts from this car dating back to the early 1980s that will be shared with the new owner, or if you have any particular questions, we will answer them for you. We can review those receipts. Excuse me here while I get this propped up here. There we go. Sorry about that. Very clean engine bay. Very stock under here. It's that flathead straight 6 that I'm going to fire up for you right now. It runs as good as it looks. When the car sits for any period of time when you start it, you do get a light puff of blue smoke out of the exhaust when you first start it. Not uncommon on these flathead 6s. The most recent owner says that it's done that for decades. So really nothing to concern yourself with there. I did find a receipt where the cylinder head had been rebuilt. This car has been serviced regularly by a local and prominent Studebaker technician here in Massachusetts, who took excellent care of this car. The brakes have all been redone not too many miles ago. The axle bearings have been repacked not too many miles ago. So I'm going to start it for you now. You turn the key, make sure she's in neutral, and you press the clutch pedal to start it. She goes. All the gauges work, even the gas gauge. I'm going to say 8 out of 10 cars I get in here have gas gauges that don't work. This is not one of them. Just like a sewing machine. Just as you'd expect from a flathead 6. Beautifully running car. The car brakes perfectly, steers perfectly, goes down the road fine. No clutch issues, no shifting issues. Even the firewall there is very clean. Very, very nice presentation. This is factory, believe it or not. That's all factory wiring. Nothing's been hacked or Mickey Mouse. Put this back down so we can close out the video. Idle's nice, as you can see, no issues. Just want to get one more look at that front end. Those bezels, Studebaker Champion. I am so excited to have this car here at Orphan Car Garage. It completely exemplifies our business model, and it is a true orphan. They're not always true orphans here at Orphan Car Garage, but this one is an absolute true orphan from the great Studebaker company out of South Bend, Indiana. Orphan Car Garage pricing on this 1951 Studebaker Champion convertible. So rare. $24,900. There's not a darn thing you need to do to this car but drive it and enjoy it and smile. Give me a call, 508-954-8090. Check us out on the web. There's a full gallery of photos of this car there, orphancargarage.com. Like us on Facebook. This car will be posted there as well. And of course, and as always, subscribe and like to us here on YouTube. We've got this car. We've had some cars recently that are super cool. And we've got some really cool stuff coming down the road also. So stick with us. I promise you won't be disappointed. Give us a call on this car if you're a true Studebaker enthusiast and you really want to have this car. Give us a call. We'll talk to you. We're very reasonable people here. I can have it shipped anywhere you want, reasonably, probably a lot less than you think. Give me a ring, 508-954-8090. Once again, thank you.